Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys. Well, I have gotten the number 33 quite a bit the past few days. And, well, today is not a 333 day, but tomorrow is, Saturday is. It's already Saturday where I'm at, but in California, it's another hour. I better get this done quick to make my deadline. But I went to an esoteric shop today, and I found a really pretty piece of jewelry, and it had a little elephant on it with its trunk raised up for good luck. It's so adorable. And I found some candles and just all kinds of stuff. They had crystals, they had all kinds of stuff. Well, I bought stuff there. And I said, how much do I owe? And he said, $33. On the nose. I left there, and a few blocks later, on the wall, spray painted in graffiti, just the number 33, nothing else. So, 33 twice in a row. So, and I've been getting it for days like this, so I'm going to read from the app Angel Numbers. Here it is. Okay. 33 means you have a strong and clear connection with one or more ascended masters who answered your call and your prayers. Keep talking to them as they are helping you with your present situation. And since tomorrow, which it's almost tomorrow, is the number 333, I'm going to read you guys what that is also. Let's see. 333 is you are completely surrounded, protected, loved, and guided by the benevolent ascended masters. Well, there you guys have it. I believe, didn't we have a 3-3 yesterday? Yes, we did. Yesterday for the Schumann Resonance, it went to 33 hertz again. So that was another thing. All right. I'm going to read to you what they have to say about the Schumann Resonance in the past 24 hours. The activity has considerably increased in the last few hours as a confirmation of the increased trend of the last few days. It's not a massive white, but a peak went above 40 hertz, reaching 44 hertz at 9 a.m. UTC, while several others went above 20 hertz. It looks like we're going to have a few more spikes in the next few hours. That was at 11:30 UTC time. Now at 17 UTC time, they said the spike have continued. Spikes, I think they mistyped that. So the spikes have continued on the 35 hertz threshold until 12 UTC. After that, they decreased between 20 and 25 hertz until little after 15 hertz when the movement stopped. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So I just feel the need. 44 stood out to me there. Did it not stand out to you? Maybe it did. We're going to go ahead and read 44. The angels are giving you extra comfort, love, and support right now. Ask them for help with everything and listen to their guidance through your intuition. That was 44 in the app called Angel Numbers. All right. So, I guess that's all I have to report as far as what's going on. I'll try to have more Earth-related news from Shanti Universe, possibly. She always has interesting things about the Earth changes. So, yeah, I went to this esoteric shop today, and the people were all strange, but good strange. And the energy was all crazy in the shop, though. He sells black magic, white magic, everything in between. There's a Santa Muerte statue right when you walk in, and they have offerings that they've left for Saint Death. But I got the idea that they were a little afraid of him, and I'm not afraid of him. So they were alarmed when I shook his hand and said, "Hey, Harry, how's it going?" But one of the people in the shop, she's a redhead like me. I thought that was fortuitous. And she's from Venezuela. She doesn't even speak English. But she's got very pale skin and I think blue or green eyes. I couldn't quite see in that light, but red, strawberry blonde. Like, huh. Oh yeah, speaking of strawberry blondes, my guest bailed on me tonight. We were supposed to record the show in the late afternoon to early evening. And 3 o'clock California time in the afternoon, she said, "Well, I didn't hear from you, so I just assumed we weren't going to do it. We'll reschedule. I have to go to bed." And then it dawned on me, I don't even know what country she's in. I don't even know what state she's from. She might have been on the East Coast, so maybe it was 6 o'clock that she wrote that. And she thought that was too late. Anyway, we got our wires crossed somehow. And the other thing I noticed is that I started to set this thing up when Mercury was retrograde. And now that it's direct, the interview didn't happen. Not saying it's not gonna, but some energy needed to be cleared from that. And I don't know what, but I got to figure that out. Spend a couple hours instead of interviewing and stuff. I had to do research for a different topic for tonight and decided I had to consecrate the jewelry that I bought. So I had to, disenchant it from anything that might have been on it. And 4 middle of the road spirits came and I had to disband them from my house. Archangel Michael's the one to talk to about that, by the way. If you're not sure if someone belongs in heaven, or maybe they're trying to catch you off guard, so you send them to heaven so they could wreak havoc. That's what happened to me tonight. Normally, that doesn't happen, but it did tonight. So, best thing is to put them on a round blue platform and ask Archangel Michael to come get it, like the color of sapphire. That's what I had to do tonight. I've never had to do that in my life. Most of the spirits come to me are all going to heaven. Usually the other spirits don't mess with me, and tonight they did a little bit. They didn't approach me. They were afraid to talk to me. That's maybe a good sign, I guess. I don't know. It was very weird. Anyway, I've just been staring at candles for a couple hours, just centering and feeling what's going on with the earth, and still have pain in my back, but not as bad as it was. All right. Instead of the guest that we had scheduled for tonight, I am going to go ahead and tell you how to feel sexy in spite of any flaws you might have. So after this message, that's tonight's topic. How to feel good about yourself in spite of your flaws. So, just after this message, I'll be back with this information. Hey you, have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start. That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast, and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there.
You're so ugly when you cry. Please, just cut it out.
I am wounded.
Well, thank you, Rihanna, for that. Have you ever felt that you're ugly when you cry? I don't know that I ever thought about that until I heard that song by Rihanna, which is called Take a Bow. And in this song, she's talking about a guy who cheated on her and got caught. And he's standing on her lawn begging her to come back. And she's like, "You're so ugly when you cry. Please just cut it out." And she's kind of making fun of him because she's just like, "You're only sorry you got caught. Like, you know, you're not really sorry." She could tell. But she believed somebody who ended up betraying her. And that person ended up being the ugly one. But anyway, there's a lot of times, whether we're crying or not, that we will not accept ourselves for ourselves. There's a lot of times that we will just think we're ugly. Maybe someone says we're ugly. You know, I don't know. I was walking down the street one time. I just got reminded of this. My hair used to be down to the middle of my lower leg, below my knee. And I have bright red hair. And this is before it started to turn white. But my hair was down really long, really thick. I mean, I've got that good Native American hair, but it's fiery red, right? And I was walking down the street, minding my own business, but I was feeling beautiful. I felt the energy of the sun on my face. I was in Los Angeles, a suburb just north of LA, feeling really good about myself. And these people drove by in a car, and a guy hung his head out the window. And he goes, "Cut your hair!" And it was just so cutting of a comment, you know, like, I was just like, what the hell? Like, what's it your business? And then I felt really weird in that moment. Like, am I ugly with long hair? Like, it was one of those moments where I'm like questioning it, you know. And I might do an episode on hair. I think I like my hair better when it's middle of my upper arm. It's still pretty long, but not Crystal Gale long. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. How do I say this? I just kind of felt self-conscious of my hair, whereas before it's my crowning glory. Like, this is the thing that connects me to the universe, okay? Your hair is an antenna to the universe. And one time I was in, I decided to get counseling because I'd had a rough childhood, and I was in college. When I first moved to Northridge, I didn't know a lot of people. So I went for counseling because I wasn't feeling too good. I was kind of depressed. I wanted to have that mental clarity that I needed. And it was cold. It was a cold day. And I had my long hair wrapped around, like, my body. And my therapist mentioned my hair. And I was just using it as a blanket, you know. And I mean, I relate to the Native American side of me. You know, I told you guys the other day, I'm a reverse apple. Might look white on the outside, but I'm red on the inside, the opposite of what an apple looks like. See, there's an insult in the Native American community when someone is called an apple. That means they're really white man on the inside, like they don't have any spirituality. They don't have that Native American heart beating inside their chest. That they only look like they're Native, but on the inside they're just like a white dude. And it's an insult. It's like a spiritual insult. I mean, I actually heard this first from a Native American chief who spoke at my school when I was 18, when I was in university. When I went to the University of North Dakota. And he said, too many people in the new generations, they're apples. And I was like, what? And I went with my friend Pamela and Ryan, and they're both Native American from different tribes. And for a while I dated Ryan's friend who was full-blood Lakota. But they just burst out laughing. I'm like, what does he mean, apple? What does he mean? They're like, oh, we'll tell you later. Oh, it's so bad. It's such a bad insult to be an apple. It's just like one of those weird things. Unless you're in the Native American community, you're never going to hear this word. And I mean, like, just except for the fruit, but not as the insult. But anyway, it's kind of hilarious. I'm a reverse apple. So my therapist says to me, well, I noticed that your hair is wrapped around you today. And I'm like, yeah, it's cold outside. She goes, oh, you don't think it's like a protective barrier between you and the world? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe it is, but I'm Native American and I like to have long hair. It's my antenna to the universe. It's how I pick up on all those channels, you know what I mean? And she was all, oh, okay. And then she didn't believe me. And I'm like, well, whatever. We're supposed to grow our hair as long as it will grow. I'm scared, though, if I keep growing my hair, it's going to be trailing down the road behind me. So those are the two instances I felt like, even though it's supposedly a good thing, I felt like super like self-conscious about my hair. And then I felt self-conscious about myself. Then I'm like, oh, am I ugly? I don't know. So we all have moments where we feel ugly. Like, I've had moments where a blood vessel burst in my head or in my eye, and my eye is like completely red, like blood red. I mean, and everyone has something, and it's like, even if you feel perfect, little weird things can happen like that. You'll get a wart, you'll get a zit, you'll get a bug bite or attacked by mosquitoes. Like, we always have these moments where we feel like unsexy and we feel not very beautiful. So I'm going to try to get us through how we can start to feel good about ourselves in spite of our outward appearance flaws. Because sometimes we have inward appearance flaws. You could have a gorgeous face and a beautiful body and still be ugly as sin on the inside. So where you talk about that too. And then also, what if your flaws are something that you can't see? Like, what if, you're physically beautiful and your personality is fine, but what if you have something in your brain that's a little unfine? Some people feel unsexy or undesirable if they have like Tourette syndrome or ADHD or bipolar disorder. That's a big one. A lot of people have the feeling that maybe they're not attractive emotionally or psychologically or mentally when they have something wrong with their brain. So that needs to be fixed and healed. So we're going to go over that too. But let's see. I am now looking, I'm going to tell you guys a couple of quotes that I came across. Let's see. Marilyn Monroe is somebody who should know more about beauty than any of us. She was an extremely beautiful woman. And before you think, yeah, but she was a size 14. She was not skinny. She had curves. She was a real woman. She didn't have to live to the pencil thin idea that people think of as beauty. And how ironic, because just 100 years ago, if you were really fat, that was considered beautiful. How weird is that, right? I prefer to have a healthy balance. Let's see. She said, beneath the makeup and behind the smile, I am just a girl who wishes for the world. Let's see. I'm looking at these quotes. A minute ago I had them, and now I don't know. This is a funny quote about beauty. She says, "If you're going to be two-faced, at least make one of them pretty." I wonder if she was insulting someone there. Okay, let's see here. Well, here's some advice that Marilyn Monroe gave to the men. If you can make a woman laugh, you can make her do anything. That was her opinion. I don't know if I share it 100%, but humor is the way to a Heyoka shaman's heart, for sure. If you can make me laugh, it's really good. It's a good thing. So about just being, this is really beautiful. This is like a kind of a speech that Marilyn had made. And she says, "This life is what you make it. No matter what, you're going to mess up sometimes. It's a universal truth. But the good part is you get to decide how you're going to mess it up. Girls will be your friends, then they'll act like it anyway. But just remember, some come and some go. The ones that stay with you through everything, they're your true best friends. Don't let go of them. And remember, sisters make the best friends in the world. As for lovers, well, they'll come and go too. And baby, I hate to say it, most of them, actually pretty much all of them, are going to break your heart. But you can't give up, because if you give up, you'll never find your soulmate. You'll never find that half who makes you whole and that goes for everything. Just because you fail once doesn't mean you're going to fail at everything. Keep trying, keep holding on, and always, always, always believe in yourself. Because if you don't, then who will, sweetie? So keep your head high, keep your chin up, and most importantly, keep smiling, because life's a beautiful thing and there's so much to smile about. And I think, honestly, that does kind of speak to not only outward beauty, but inward beauty, Just never give up on finding love. If you aren't attractive or sexy to one person, that means they're not the right person. Only the right person is going to be attracted to you. You could show up in overalls and, men could be unshaven and scruffy, and the one's going to love you anyway. You could be a woman and no makeup and your hair's dirty, wearing, overalls and big clunky boots, and the one is going to just think you're adorable. They're going to love you anyway. The one will always be attracted to you. Usually attraction is an energetic thing. Marilyn Monroe also said, imperfection is beauty. Madness is genius. And it's better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring. So I don't know. I mean, maybe if you have bipolar or you have ADHD where you blurt out things at inopportune times, you're definitely not boring, are you? You're going to be attractive to the one that's the right one for you. So this is something, so if you've gone through a breakup and you're not feeling sexy or good about yourself, and you feel like they broke up with you because of all these flaws you may or may not have, but that was your perception, this is a really good quote to get through something like that. I believe that everything happens for a reason. People change so that you can learn to let go. Things go wrong so that you can appreciate them when they're right. You believe lies, so eventually you learn to trust no one but yourself. And sometimes good things fall apart, so better things can fall together. Again, Marilyn, of course. And this is one thing that I really loved. What made her sexy wasn't because she was super skinny or the most perfect beauty. She just was confident and she had a high self-esteem, even though there's times that she faltered in that. But overall, her confidence in herself was impeccable the majority of the time. She felt sexy and she embodied the goddess Aphrodite. She embodied that Venusian level of beauty. She said, and this is probably the best quote from her. She says, I'm selfish, impatient, and a little insecure. I make mistakes. I am out of control and at times hard to handle. But if you can't handle me at my worst, then you sure as hell don't deserve me at my best. That's a good quote for everybody, because you know what? We all have our shortcomings that make us feel unsexy. Sometimes we might feel a little greedy, or we want to hide out and be away from the world, or we do something embarrassing in public. I met a guy on the beach once who, while talking to me, pissed his pants. What was so great about that, I don't know if he was just too drunk to notice or if he just kind of played it off, and he still had confidence and he still had that thing about him where he was okay with it. I just thought that was hilarious. Like, he was someone who had confidence no matter what. That was unshakable confidence. I mean, man. He was drunk as hell. I mean, but it was shocking to me. I was like, oh my God. I would have been like, excuse me while I pee over here, okay? I'm going to go pee behind this rock. I mean, instead just like, he just peed his pants and just kept on going. Like, what the heck? But I have met people that no matter what, they have this intense confidence. So I am sitting here with the goddess Aphrodite, and I'm hoping that she's going to allow my voice to be a channel for her, as far as she's going to imbue my voice with the feelings of confidence and beauty, handsomeness, sexiness. And so as I talk, allow the energy to flow to you from the goddess Venus, or That's her Roman name, but her Greek name was the goddess Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Allow her to be with you and help boost your confidence and help boost your self-esteem. So while I speak, she is with me. She says, I don't want you to ask me questions, but she's just going to do that. She wanted me to at least give her credit for being here and to give you the positive vibes. She said anyone is welcome to call upon her for help, because that's what she's there for. This is a face of God. All the gods and goddesses are different aspects of the one true God, right? Or the god and goddess. So there's different faces. And it's okay if we pay attention to them so that they help us. So, if you have something that is extremely fixable, like acne, psoriasis, acne, skin conditions, a wart, or mole, if there's something that can be done about it, I want you just to take a deep breath and just blow it out. Just say, I can fix this. I got this. Slap yourself in the chest, like you remember how they did on The Wolf of Wall Street, right? Okay, slap yourself in the chest. I got this. Just like that. Because you got this. If it's just a change in diet, maybe you need a little more sleep, maybe you need to smoke less cigarettes, drink less soda, whatever it is. If you need to surround yourself by more positive, loving, open-minded people, maybe start a meetup group. What if your stress is caused by acne? I also recommend the book by Louise Hay, God rest her soul, You Can Heal Your Life, because that will be a really good, helpful thing. It's a book full of affirmations related to every possible thing that could go wrong with your health from A to Z. I don't know what starts with Z, but there might be something. So, I don't know. I mean, everyone has flaws. I have flaws. Like, I think I'm a little bit overweight. I'm definitely a little bit overweight. I definitely need to fix that. But it's fixable. So I'm okay with that. I worry about my age. I know I don't look my age. Thank you, God. Thank you, Aphrodite. I don't look my age. And it's a lot of coconut oil, and I try to eat good, but I don't eat perfect. I had the equivalent of chocolate cupcakes today. I had chocolate cupcakes, but they're like Hostess cupcakes in the States, and they're almost identical to that, but they're called biribiri. In Mexico, they're called penguinos, and they have penguins on them. They're just adorable, the ones with the white frosting in the middle. Sometimes I can't resist. I have to have one of these. Chocolate gets rid of dementors. We all know this. So, all right. Flaws. Flaws can be anything that you perceive to be wrong or faulting in your personality or in your person, physical person. So the physical stuff, if you could fix it, you got this, you could fix it. We'll get through that together. Tap into the healing grid, pull my energy along with thousands and thousands of other light workers who are putting the energy into the healing grid that's around the earth. If you don't know about that, go back and listen to my grids episode. But, or both episodes. That was a two-parter. It was a long one. But take that energy up into your body for healing, and the RIFAP frequency generator will help with most things. It will help with some emotional things, some mental things, pain in your body, and any illness that you have, period. And it's absolutely free. It's just the RIFAP frequency generator, RIFE, named after Royal Rife, the man who discovered that everything could be cured with sound frequency. Okay, so that's one thing that's important. So now, let's see, some of the other flaws. brainwave optimization is something to look into if you have anything for anything emotional or mental or psychological. If you feel like your brain is broken in one way or another, brainwave optimization can help your brain get back to normal. It remaps your neuronal connections so that you could be whole again. You're not going to be like this forever. Sometimes you need medicine to get through it. Sometimes a lot of shamanic meditation, or, even people do ayahuasca or stuff like that for this stuff. Or you can just go get brainwave optimization. You just schedule for I think it's 7 to 10 sessions. Maybe it's 10 sessions in the beginning. It's worth every penny though. I did it. I didn't even finish and my guy left. It's so sad. But my Dr. Bennett, he's the one who wrote the Ascension Perspective. Well, his higher guidance told him to leave on the 28th of March. And I said, oh, good timing. That's when Mercury goes direct. And he didn't know anything about it. God just guides him and he understands what's happening. He just goes through it. And then when other people tell him stuff like this, he's like, oh, wow, I didn't even know. He's one of those people in this world who follows exactly what God tells him to do. So, anyway, so if you have mental flaws, I think brainwave optimization will work. It can possibly work for you. It can get pricey just because you have to have so many sessions, but it's fun. There's no judgment, towards you. I've been to therapists that just judged me right away. And it's I was in between houses and my rent was up and I hadn't gotten a new place. I told one therapist, well, it looks like I'm going to be homeless for 1 week while I'm looking for an apartment. And she just started shaking her head going, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I'm like, well, okay, thanks for judging me and disapproving of my plans. But actually I had everything pretty well thought out. And I knew where I was going to park. We were going to park in front of people's houses that we knew. We were going to be safe. We had a plan of where we were going to eat, what we were going to do for that 7 days. And I was with my boyfriend who was a grown man, so I wasn't going to be alone on the streets. We were going to live in our car together. And it wasn't ideal, obviously, but it was only for 7 days because we had an idea that we had an apartment coming, and we did. And I think the person moved out. We said a prayer, and the person moved out 7 days earlier than they said they were going to move. So it was just oh, cool. Sometimes, just if you ask the universe for a lot of things, it's going to come to you. So if you have something that actually makes you unattractive in one way or another that you think can get fixed, ask the universe for the help. But having said all that, everything can be fixed. But having said all that, why do you need to fix yourself? Maybe you don't really have flaws. And maybe it's possible that the person who is the one for you, they're going to know you by your flaw. They're going to know you by your flaw. There's a story, I think I told it, maybe not. There's a story about the man who holds the red string. I think it's a story out of China. And this is the story. There's a man in the world who ties you to your one true love by a red string that goes around your wrist or around your pinky finger. And the other end of the string, the red string, is tied to your love, your one true love. The one you're supposed to marry in this life. So what happens is, as it's time, when you both become more and more ready for it, that string will shorten and shorten and shorten until it brings you two together. Well, this man is usually invisible, and he was obvious to a little boy one day. The little boy's like, "Who are you and what are you doing? Why are you tying strings around everybody?" And he's like, well, that's what I do. This is what the string is for, is to bring you to your one true love. And he goes, oh, I don't believe in that. And the little boy is like 7 or 8 years old. and maybe he's like 10. I think he might have been 10. And the man who holds the string said, no, it's true, and I'm going to prove it to you. Do you see that girl there? That's your one true love. And he goes, no, she's not. I hate her. And he picked up a rock and he threw it at the little girl. And it hit her just below her eye. And it nicked her. And she bled a little. And she ran away crying. And he goes, you see that? I'm never going to marry her. I'm never going to marry anybody. I don't like girls. So years and years and years go by. And there was an arranged marriage. I think it was an arranged marriage is the story. And when the bride lifted her veil, he saw her and she was perfect in every way except for one flaw, which is a little scar under her left eye. And he said, oh, what happened to you there? She said, well, when I was about 10 years old, a little boy randomly threw a rock at my face, told me he hated me and ran away. And I've had the scar ever since. And this man started to cry and he goes, I was that little boy. I was told that you were my one true love and I was going to marry you and I got scared. So I threw the rock at you. And he loved her in spite of the flaw of the scar on her face. And that reminds me, speaking of scars, I had a friend in college for a while, and his name was Ashton. And he was, to me, an extremely gorgeous man. Gorgeous. Perfect body. He played all around. He won awards for all-around athlete of the year at our college. He won for basketball and baseball and football. I think track too. I mean, he like won every damn award, and he got this MVP award that was incredible. But he was a black man and a very wealthy, very racist white man. Saw him while he was training. He was out on his bicycle, and as he was going along, this guy just like ran into him and then dragged him with his Rolls Royce for like a block on his face, on one half of his face. So one half of his face was horribly disfigured. His eye was pulled down. His lip was pulled down. When I met him, he had already had 12 surgeries to fix it. Every 6 months, he had to get a new surgery done. And he still had years left to go before he was ever going to look normal again. And this billionaire had to pay for it because he screwed his face up, screwed up his looks. And one day I was looking at him, and if you look at him on half of his face, he was like a freaking god. He was perfect in every way, no flaws. You look on the other half of his face, and he was like a ghoulish monster. I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I couldn't even look at him. And we became friends, and he's got this amazing, magnetic, sparkly personality. And after I got to know him, I became very attracted to him. And after a while, after 2 or 3 months, I could see who he used to be. And the energy of his face was what he used to be. And I could only see that. I never saw his flaws, like ever. And after a while, like I would introduce him to my friends, like, and I'd say, this is one of the handsomest men I've ever met. And they'd look at me like, really? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I had nothing but love for him. He was an amazing person. And I remember looking at him one day and I went, oh my God, his secret came to me in a flash. Before he had that happen to his face, his personality was ugly. He thought he was better than everyone else. He's so handsome, he could get all the girls. He could get the one he wants. He has his pick. He had these, like, hubris. So much arrogance. My God, so much arrogance. And then I'm like, what sign are you? He's like, I'm an Aries. I'm like, yeah. I just started laughing. I go, yeah, that makes so much sense. Because, you know, my gut instinct, my intuition said that this guy was so handsome that he was ugly on the inside. And what happened was, because of a horrible racist billionaire in a Rolls Royce, he's probably drunk. I probably know who this guy is, to be honest. Well, he's dead now, but anyway, it's like going back like 30 years. But anyway, he, because of this horrible thing, and they might have had a soul agreement before they both got here. I'm going to play the part of this and you're going to play the part of that. And this is what's going to happen. Well, what happened was that car dragged the ugliness out from inside of him and humbled him to the core. And he had to rebuild his personality from the ground up. Because before, his personality was only based on his looks. And now he's got to work at it. He's got to work at people trusting him, loving him, getting to know him, looking past his massive flaw, which is, I mean, his face looked like it was falling off, like it was melting off. And it was gruesome, truly. But like after 3 months, I didn't even notice it. It didn't even bug me at all. I just loved him dearly. None of it mattered to me. Because he had become one of the most beautiful people I'd ever met in my life. He was elevated in nature. His parents came from a really rough neighborhood. And they came from Compton. And they both raised themselves up, got out of that neighborhood. They ended up, one was a doctor, like a psychotherapist or psychiatrist, and the other one was a lawyer. And even when they divorced, they co-parented perfectly their kids. Beautiful, loving, beautiful, amazing, elevated human beings. And they had raised Ashton to be that way, but he just skated around on his looks. Hey, baby, do my homework for me. I saw him do that. I saw like a vision of him doing that. And he was so shocked. He's like, no one knows that. How do you know? I only did this to one girl when I was in high school. I'm like, I saw it. I see it. He's like, nah, shucks. No one will ever do my homework for me now. I'm like, yeah, well, you should be doing your own work. And he's like, yeah, I know that now. And he did. In college, he did. But he became a beautiful person, you know. There's a guy I urge you guys to go look up. Hoge is his name, Hogue. Let me look it up. I had just sent this to my friend. Just today, I sent this to a couple friends. Let me look at this up. I just sent this. It says, okay, this is the name of it. I want you guys to go look this up on TED Talks. It's called Own Your Face by Robert Hogue, and his last name is Hoge. And it says, father and author of the book Ugly and political advisor Robert Hogue explores why we all need to own our own faces. And he shares his own personal story. And if you look at this guy, you're going to see that this guy, I mean, he was born with some massive, like tumor covering half his face and coming down over his nose. And he had some congenital birth defects that made his eyes go on the side of his head like a fish. And he looked so crazy, strange to his mom that she left him at the hospital for a month and went home. Was freaking out, didn't know what to do, you know. It was really hard for her to connect to a face that looks like that. But it's a good thing, you know, that she changed her mind, went back and got him, and they loved him. But watch this video on TED Talks. I'm telling you, it will change the way that you look at a lot of things. It'll just give you another 20 minutes worth of how to feel sexy despite your flaws, you know? So a big thing, though, that people have problems with is confidence and self-esteem. Or when you gain confidence, you're still lacking in self-esteem. I've noticed that a lot. I see it in people's handwriting. I'm handwriting analyst as well. And I see that in people's handwriting all the time. Even if they tell me they're confident, and then I can see, yeah, but you have a very low self-esteem. So there's ways to build up your self-esteem. You can't skate around the world on your looks if you have a pretty face. Self-esteem comes from different things, and I found one wonderful channel called Stop Anxiety. One word, Stop Anxiety, no spaces. And that's on YouTube. And they had a self-esteem video, and he was saying that there's 10 things that you need. And so I'm going to give you my own idea of what these are. I'm not going to say word per word what the video says. So if you want to go see the video, again, it's on the Stop Anxiety channel on YouTube. So stop comparing yourself. Stop comparing yourself to others. Because there's only one unique you. And that's what makes you beautiful, being unique. When you act like everybody else and look like everyone else and dress like everyone else, then you just become one of the crowd, and nobody can ever really spot you if you're the same as everyone else. So stop comparing yourself to others. Love yourself for who you are, and take just a moment to appreciate your unique position. You have a unique perspective on things because no one has walked a mile in your moccasins, let alone all of the miles. So stop comparing yourself to other people. Also, keep your thoughts positive. You know, if you're thinking positive all the time, then you can transform anything that's wrong inside of you or outside of you. You know, so, I mean, I have metal rods in my legs, and all the positive thinking in the world's not going to take them out. I have to go see a doctor for that. And I haven't taken them out because I have 600% chance more of breaking the bone again and losing my leg. So might as well walk around with the metal. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it's a flaw. But I live with it, and I'm happy with it. I'm okay. I can still walk. There's days I can run. There's other days I can't get out of bed. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. The love of my life is going to understand that and have empathy for me and compassion for me. And everyone who does not have that, they're not the one. That's a test, right? That's an example, right? So I keep my thoughts positive. I know he's coming to me. I know I am sexy, whether I'm single or not. I know I'm attractive no matter what. And I know because some of these other things I'm about to tell you, and you could feel this too for yourself. So when someone compliments anything about you, say thank you and accept it. Allow the compliment to land. T. Harv Eker likes to say that. That's how I learned that phrase, is from him directly. I went to a 3-day workshop of his, The Millionaire Mind, and he said, accept the compliment, allow it to land. Allow it to land, give it a few seconds, and then say thank you. He said it drove his wife crazy. She would say, I love you. And he would say, thank you. Just like that. He paused a couple seconds and then thank you. And she never understood. He kept trying to explain it to her, and she never totally understood it. They're divorced now. I know he still loves her. I know they loved each other. I think he's probably a hard ass to live with, just to be honest. Beautiful person inside and out, but hard nosed. He expects perfection almost, or approaching it. But only on integrity levels and personality levels. So okay, but he always told me, or he always said that to the room. Allow the compliments to land. Really take it in and feel it. It's a gift when somebody gives you a compliment. Don't say, it was nothing. Don't poo-poo it. Don't put yourself down. Just allow it to be. And you got to feed the positivity in your mind and in your life. Don't watch negative things. Don't watch things that are going to drag your energy back down to the third dimension. Bring yourself up to the fifth dimension. Just feed yourself with positive things. Go listen to Ralph Smart. Man, if you listen to one Ralph Smart video a day, you'll feel so amazing. He is one of the most beautiful, amazing people on this planet. He's one of the brightest lights I've ever seen. Ralph Smart. He's totally the bomb, man. I love him so much. But, feed your mind positive things. When you find yourself, put a rubber band around your wrist. And when you find yourself, and I got this from T. Harbecker as well, when you find yourself thinking negative about yourself or putting yourself down or saying to yourself that you're ugly for something, snap the rubber band as hard as you can stand it on your wrist. There will be welts, there might be bleeding, and there'll definitely be scars later, but they go away in time. And after a while, if you're really hardcore at this, after a while, you're going to never, ever, ever have a negative thought about yourself again. Because your wrist will hurt too much and you'll just stop. That's a quick and easy, simple behavior modification that you can do to stop feeling ugly. Because the thing is, most ugliness comes from within. And even if you have an outward flaw, it doesn't mean that you're unsexy or unattractive. It just means that the true love of your life is going to have to work a little harder to find your beauty. But when they discover it, it's going to be all the better for you. Support. What did I write here? Supportive people. So if you feel ugly, a lot of times it'll be because you're hanging around low-level people who are unawakened and they're unenlightened and they don't understand their negativity can really harm people. And if you're feeling real bad about yourself and real low, you'll attract people that are also real low. And then you'll find yourself in a position where you're seeking their approval. But honey, you are a child of God. You need not seek approval from anybody, ever. You're beautiful. Every bit of you is a beautiful person. Your soul is like shimmery gold and white light. Your soul stands like 80 to 100 feet tall. You probably have wings. Probably like a giant, beautiful angel. And you're going around picking on yourself because you got a little zit on your chin or something. Why? Why? It doesn't matter. I've been attracted to people that had acne, or maybe their teeth were a little yellower than they should have been, or I actually had a boyfriend with a missing tooth once, but I could see the inner beauty of that person and I loved him anyway. He had a lot of flaws, a lot of mental flaws, lots of mental flaws, but I loved him anyway. The only flaw that was real, that wasn't a false illusion in him, was that he didn't believe in God and therefore didn't believe in himself. But 4.5 months with me later, he believed in God again. And I just know that was because God worked through me. I was an instrument for God. I was told to go watch this guy, and I did. Followed orders from God. I can't say there's anything I did specifically, except I just mentioned God a lot around him. Somehow rubbed off on him. I don't know. It was pretty cool. But if you find yourself seeking approval of others, stamp yourself with a rubber band, I'm thinking. Because you don't need to seek the approval of others. You're fine. You're fine the way you are. Fix what you need to fix. Fix what you can fix. Change what you can change. Change what you're willing to change. Be the best possible version of yourself. That's how you're going to attract that person. So, okay. Look at all your past successes, no matter what they were, whether they were relationships. Now, if a relationship ends, that doesn't mean that it was not a success. It just meant it was over. You know, if you go to watch a movie in 2 hours, it's going to be over. Does that mean the movie's not a success? No. So why would you think that about your relationship? If you look at life like we're a stage, and, you know, life is all a stage and we're just merely the actors and the players upon it. Well, plays begin and end all the time. Doesn't mean it wasn't a success during it. I think that if you learn any lesson at all, if you learn anything, or if you become kinder or more compassionate or more loving or more wise or stronger at the end of a relationship, even if it was for 1 week or 10 years, it doesn't matter. If you improve even 1%, then that relationship was a success. Do good in life. So, yeah, write down all your past successes. So basically what that means is just write down all your past successes. Write down everything that you did right. It could be simple, like I had a perfect day yesterday. I woke up on time and I showered and I ate and I didn't get delayed by email or telephone calls, and I didn't get angry at the news, and I didn't even watch the news, and I had a perfect day yesterday. Boom, yesterday was a success. Ate healthy yesterday, that was a success. You know, if you graduated high school, that's a success. If you graduated kindergarten, that's a success. I mean, you could go back as far as I learned how to walk. I learned how to talk. I learned how to speak English. Thank you very much. Take a bow. I mean, for real. And seriously, your successes could be like the simplest thing. I learned how to add numbers together. The success is I loved my grandmother my whole life until her death. That's a success. Have you ever had a paper cut and it healed? Success! I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, you know, if you learned how to dance the hustle, that's a success. When you recognize that you're no longer a right fit for a job and you leave, that's a success. Everything you've been through and came through it. You had a near-death experience? Well, you didn't die. That's a success. And even when you die, you lived a whole life. That's a success. Everything is a success if you think about it the right way. All right. Do good. Do good in life. If you go do nice, kind, loving, compassionate things for other people, you're going to feel really good about yourself. That's going to boost your self-esteem. Find your passion and true purpose in life. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's petting cats. Maybe it's hugging people. There's people in London that go around with signs as free hugs given here, and they go around hugging people. Not all of them are perverts. Probably someone just want to give you, some of these people want to just give you a hug, that's all. Don't panic. Maybe give that person a hug. See how it makes you feel. Maybe you're a hugging person. Maybe you're the one that's supposed to be on the street corner hugging people. Who knows? Stop being mean to yourself. That doesn't serve anybody. Stop deprecating yourself. Stop talking negative about yourself. Don't trash yourself. There's plenty of people in the world who will do it for you. You don't need to worry about that. Love yourself no matter what. So never apologize for yourself. You don't need to apologize. Did you behave badly? Sure. Maybe you did. Did you get drunk in public? Yeah. Did you piss your pants while you're talking to a girl on the beach? Maybe. Do you need to apologize for it? No. Everything happens in life for a reason. Everything happens in life. Never apologize for yourself. You know, like if you hurt someone, apologize, because you hurt somebody. But you don't have to apologize for who you are. That's what I mean by this. Marilyn Monroe said, "You're beautiful. It's society who is ugly. Remember that. It's society who's ugly. The least common denominator in our society. That's who's ugly. That's the ugly people, whether they're beautiful physically or not. Be true to yourself. Never sell yourself out. Never call yourself out in a way that is going to embarrass yourself in front of others. Don't ever worry about self-deprecating yourself to make other people feel better than you. Don't put yourself down so that other people feel better about themselves. Boost yourself up. Lift yourself up. Love yourself. Be the angel I know you are to yourself. This is how, my dears, you will begin to feel sexy in spite of your flaws. Because in the end, those flaws aren't really flaws. So, when I went through the fire in paradise a few years ago, not the one that burned the whole town down, but the one that burned a part of the town, we were evacuated for 10 days in a Red Cross shelter. And when we were in this shelter, I met a man who told me a story that absolutely made me cry. So, in a past life, there was a man and a woman. They were both pretty good looking. Everything was cool. You know, normal people, whatever. Not many flaws. And she became a nurse, and he was a soldier during a war. And he got horribly disfigured where his face was ugly, like beyond recognition, ugly. And she was a nurse that had to tend to his wounds on his face. And she got to know his personality during this lifetime, fell madly in love with him, and they got married. And later in the life, something happened to her where she ended up in a wheelchair for the rest of her life, and he had to take care of her. So when they were born in this life, they both had made a decision in the in-between world that they would come here in a way that they'd recognize each other. And what happened was the nurse was reborn very ugly, very, very, very ugly. And the man was born in a wheelchair that he needed his whole life. And when they recognized each other, when they met, you see, the nurse felt like he felt super self-conscious because he ended up being very physically ugly. So she didn't want him to feel self-conscious anymore. So she was born now, this time, with a very ugly face. So he would not feel so bad. And he did not want her to feel bad about having been in a wheelchair and having to be taken care of. So he was born in a situation where he needed a wheelchair now so that she wouldn't feel self-conscious about herself. They took on each other's flaws from a former life so they could put each other in each other's shoes, put themselves in each other's shoes. Not only were they willing to walk a mile in each other's moccasins, but they were willing to live a lifetime in each other's moccasins from a past life. This story just blew my mind. It's not a book or something he read. This guy that told me this story, he looked like Merlin. Long white beard, wispy, crazy hair, eyebrows going wild and woolies go everywhere. Albert Einstein called. He wants his eyebrows back. But yeah, I mean, pretty cool story, right? I mean, wow. That they would sacrifice for each other like that to make the other one feel better. It's almost like the gift of the Magi. So this is how you feel sexy, wanted, loved, lovable, in spite of your flaws. You start by loving yourself. You start by accepting yourself. And if you don't accept it in the beginning, that's okay. Every day work on accepting yourself. You know, I accept that I have metal rods in my legs. I accept that I have scars on my legs from the metal rods having been surgically put in. I accept that I have moles. I accept that I have freckles. I can still fix them. I can still take them off. That's fine. They're not terrible. That I can fix. I accept that I am a couple pounds overweight. That I can fix. I can fix my diet. I can fix it. I could exercise a little more. That's true. I could do that. You know, just accept. You say the things that you want to, you know, okay, yeah, I accept that I have acne. I accept that that pimple does not look good right now. I accept the fact that I may have to spend $6 on concealer for this week. I accept that my ex-boyfriend gave me spot concealer. You see, he had to take care of me. You know, whatever it is. Accept everything in order. Just accept it. You know, once you accept it, then you're like, oh, I accept it. Doesn't mean you're not going to find love. I mean, if this guy who had to be in a wheelchair and need care all the time was able to find love, love goes beyond looks. Love goes beyond circumstance. True love goes beyond all of your flaws. And true, there's some times when you're going to have to work on yourself a little harder. You might have to be alone for a while. But it doesn't mean you have to feel unsexy in the alone times. I feel very sexy, and I've been alone for a couple of years now. I know I'm sexy. I don't care if I have a couple extra pounds. I mean, I care. I'm working on it. But, you know, it's something I can work on. Something I am working on. Pretty sure I'll be fine in a year. I'll probably look younger than I do now. Woo! You know, I've learned to love my flaws, and I know you can too. It takes a little bit of work, a little bit of mental work, a little bit of emotional work. You could do it. I got your back. I'm here for you. And more importantly, you have your back. You have to be here for you. Because sometimes this world can be very cold and very cruel, and the only person that's going to be there for you is you. You have to be there for you. If you have your own back, you've got everything. And if you don't have your own back, how do you expect anyone else to have your back? If you want someone to have your back at all times, you have to have your own back. Show others that you deserve and command that respect by respecting yourself, by loving yourself, by working on your self-confidence and your self-esteem. Because your flaw really isn't that you have a skin condition or a disease or a weird circumstance like lifetime wheelchair bound. Your true flaw is that you don't accept it about yourself, and you're not accepting and loving everything about yourself. That's the real flaw. You could have 100 zits on your face, but if you own it, you could still be sexy and pull it off. Seriously. I've met some really sexy people with acne. It's like, I don't even notice it. You know? And sometimes people have an uglier outward appearance so that you have to get to know their personality to find their attractiveness. But once you do, it's almost like going through all the briar patches to get to Sleeping Beauty. You have to go through so much ugliness to get to the beauty. Sometimes that's the way it is. So don't judge other people based on their appearance. Judge not lest you be judged. You don't want them to judge you either. Start accepting everything about yourself. And if you can't start with yourself, start with someone you know or someone you don't know. Start accepting something about someone else. this Mr. Hogue that I told you about earlier. Go watch his video. By the end of the video, you're going to accept his looks more and more, and you're going to be okay with him. You're going to feel so much love and compassion and empathy for the guy that you're going to not see his ugliness, his physical ugliness anymore, because he's got an inner light and an inner beauty that shines through. There have been guys that go around the world with no legs and no arms, and they're motivational speakers about how great their life is. Seriously, you know? Think about that. I mean, that's like pretty intense. Someone could go through something so hard. What about that little kid that died a few years ago? They had progeria, where he was, is it progeria? Yeah, it's progeria, I think. And he was born a super old man. He had arthritis as a baby. And the older he got, I mean, he had the body of an 80-year-old man, and he was like 7 years old. Very strange disease. But people that go through that at the ages 7 and 8 have the wisdom of an 80-year-old man also. It's very weird. It's very, very strange. But go look up that guy. I mean, there's been several people with this disease that go out and they talk in the world that I believe they're spiritual masters. And they're here to break down the barrier that people have about looks. You know? You can feel good about yourself in spite of your flaws. You can feel great about yourself in spite of your flaws. You can accept your flaws and feel sexy, wanted, lovable, because you are lovable. God loves you. That should be all you need to know. Besides the fact that opinions from other people don't matter at all. Whether people think you are good or bad, it doesn't matter. It should not ever affect you. Don't ever allow other people's hearts and minds and emotions into your head. Oh, today you did something good for them. They love you. Oh, great. You take that in. Tomorrow you forgot to do something good for them, and they hate you now. And then you take that in. What good is that? Become your own best friend. Love yourself completely. Become your own best friend. Know that you're worthwhile. You've spent every waking moment with yourself since the day you were born. You know you're worthwhile. And if you're not worthwhile, you got to get worthwhile. You got to get to the point where you feel that you're worthwhile. Because you are worthwhile. You just have to see that you are worthy. Write in your mirror and lipstick. Even if you're a guy, go out and buy some lipstick. It could be black lipstick. You could say you're going to a goth party. It's okay. Get purple lipstick. Get a weird color. There's blue and yellow and green out there now. Doesn't have to be weird. This is only for you. Write on your bathroom mirror, I am enough. If you don't like that phrase, write, I am worthy. Do it tonight. Do it today. Maybe you have a marker. Write that with not a permanent marker. Don't ruin your mirror. But you could just write with a marker too. Or a crayon. A crayon will work. Write, I am enough. Or I am worthy. Or you could write, I'm enough, I am worthy. Put one at the top of your mirror, one at the bottom. Your face goes in the middle. When you're brushing your teeth or popping your zits, I don't know what you do in the mirror. Make faces at yourself like I do. I don't know. I like to give myself the world's worst hairstyles and then laugh my ass off while staring at myself in the mirror. But I'm a heyoka. I have a hairstyle I call the squid. Hey, if you're my twin flame, you're the only one in the world that's going to see the squid, okay? It is hysterical. I won't show it to anybody else. My kids have seen the squid. It's pretty horrible and hilarious. I call it the librarian also. I have a librarian one. It's kind of a variation on the squid. I'm not making fun of librarians. It's just a weird, I don't know. I have some weird stuff that goes on in my head. But it's possible. And if you work on yourself, it's probable and highly likely, actually, that you will be able to feel sexy. Not only in spite of your flaws, but you'll accept your flaws to the point where you'll think, hey, they're not even flaws. They might be a signal that you are the one for the other one. You never know. Maybe you're the one with the scar under your eye and you're waiting for your true love to discover that he's the one that caused it. It all goes back generations too, sometimes past lives. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about any of this. Don't worry about any of this crap. Don't worry about any of your flaws. It's all an illusion anyway. We're all just made up of electrons, protons, and neutrons. We're just swirling bundle of atoms in a specific shape. Okay, sure, we need to puff up our chest and suck in our stomach sometimes. We feel we have to anyway. It's all just a big fat illusion. Well, not fat. Fat maybe is the wrong word to use. It's all just a grand illusion. And when we pass over to the other side, when we're on the other side, we're all in perfect shape and 30. And we're just absolutely gorgeous over there. But we all have one flaw. Did you know that? In heaven, we all have one flaw. We all have to have one flaw. We have to pick one flaw. Because it tells us that it's a sign and a signal to us that we're never going to be 100% perfect, because perfection is an illusion. It's an idea that has hurt many people. Don't allow it to hurt you. Accept your one flaw, or your 2 flaws, or your 20 flaws. The one who is your one true love is going to accept you, warts and all. Even if it's a planted word on the bottom of your foot. The one who is the one for you is going to be completely okay with anything that you have going on. If you're with somebody and you have something going on and they don't accept you, guess what? Oh, well, hasta la vista, baby. You're not the one. See? That's honestly how that works. I was married to a nurse for 13 years who knew how to handle it when I had an asthma attack. It was awesome. That I was with someone who loved me so much. He didn't blame me. I've had boyfriends in the past who blamed me for having an asthma attack. Well, you should have taken your inhaler. You should have known better. You should blah, blah. It's like sometimes smells happen. Sometimes a perfume or exhaust from a car, and you get an asthma attack. It's something that could come on suddenly. It's something that's potentially deadly. I have died 5 times from it already. But I'm here. I'm still standing. So, hey. But that's one of my flaws. And you know what? I don't care. If you don't accept it, you're not my one. If you're okay with it, knowing that I have it under control, I'm doing everything in my power, hey. That's the attitude you have to take. That's the stand you got to take. And I know that you can do it. And I got your back, babe. So I'm here. I'm doing my show. I'm trying to help as many people as humanly possible, in as many ways as humanly possible. While there's breath in this body, I'm going to help. All right. I love you guys. I love you very, very much. I'm happy we're on this road together. But now I'm signing off with peace and love and beauty and joy and the high vibes of the holy 5th dimension. Until next time, guess how I feel?
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and gay, and I pity any girl who's in need over there.
Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.